It's just us. Good afternoon. We welcome you to the Voice of Rio. This is the third episode of the Voice of Rio, and I'm really pleased to have with me here today Silas Pulliam and Emily Thomas, and I'm Michelle Johnston. We're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves as we go, but just to start this show out right, we really have decided that we are not going to have a show that you might have expected. Instead, right here at the last minute, we've decided we're just going to do a recap of all the shows that were on last night and tell you what we thought about those. Are we ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. No, we will save that for another day. But I will tell you that before we got started today, we were talking together about what our favorite shows are. We don't really have a lot of time to watch TV these days, but I'll tell you, one of us, our favorite show is Friends. Another one of us, our newly favorite show is Sex and the City. And another one of us, the favorite show is Walking Dead. So I'm not going to tell you, we'll get to that at the end of the show, just a cliffhanger to make sure that you stay with us for the whole show, and you can find out what our favorite, which one of those shows belongs to which one of us. Is that a good way to go?
I like that.
All right. Well, we're just, all your secrets are out. I'm the president here at the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College. Really excited to be a part of this new series that we have, Voice of Rio. And today we have our panel of distinguished individuals. I've introduced them. I want them to introduce themselves a little bit more. But I'll tell you a little bit about Silas. Silas Pulliam, he is a graduate of Paint Valley High School, and he's from Bainbridge, Ohio. Silas is a business management major. He's a sophomore this year. He's also minoring in communications, so a lot to keep him busy there. And then I'll go to Emily and let her start to kind of finish her story and then hand it off to Silas. But Emily is a graduate of Gallia Academy. She's from Rio Grande, Ohio. If you'd been around this campus, you probably saw her in diapers and then learning to walk and all those things along the way. But Emily is a junior here in sports and exercise studies. So we're really glad to have you. Emily, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you?
Yeah. I am originally from Rio. So as a junior in high school, I actually started the post-secondary option program. I took 13 credit hours my junior year completely, and then my senior year I took 13 credit hours each semester. So I graduated high school with 39 credit hours under my belt. So it was kind of a given that I was going to come here and just finish out my degree. I started as a biology major, soon changed to sports and exercise studies, and it's where I stay and where I will graduate in 2016. I am involved with Greek organizations, All Greek Council. I'm an RA in an upperclassman dorm. I am on Student Senate, and I'm also a student ambassador for the admissions office.
Wonderful. Silas, what's your story?
I am from the small town Bainbridge, Ohio. I also did post-secondary, but not through Rio Grande. So I started college with 8 credit hours. Not as impressive as Emily, but I am a second-year resident student. I'm also a student ambassador and on Student Senate. I am on the Rio Events and Planning Board. I am the student promotions coordinator for Rio Dining Services. I lifeguard at the Lion Center pool here on campus, and I'm a volunteer at the Rio Valley Stables.
Excellent. Well, I just want to, what do you guys not do? I mean, did you leave any things for other students to do on campus? Because you are so busy. It's really impressive. And I invited Silas and Emily to come today because they are extremely engaged on campus. They're very busy, as you can tell. And one of the things that they have agreed to do is to completely lose all anonymity today. So we're going to give you their cell numbers. You heard them right here. And we're doing that so that you can text in any questions that you have for us, and we'll look through those questions as we go, and toward the end of the show today, we'll look at some of those. So let's see if I can give you those telephone numbers. They should be at the bottom of your screen if you're watching us. If you're listening, Emily Thomas's number is 740-441-5500. That's 740-441-5500. Silas Pulliam, if you want to vote for him, it's 740-466-7472. That's 740-466-7472. 7472. For those of you who may be joining us on Blog Talk Radio, we do have a chat line there. Please feel free to jump in on the chat line, talk to us, share your thoughts, and like I said, text Emily and Silas as we go along today. Well, let's get down to our order of business. Are we ready to do that?
I think so.
I think we need to talk about what we're
Our
wearing,
gear?
our gear. Yes, we're very proud of our gear.
Rio gear.
Yes, and you can have one of your very own items that we're wearing if you head on over to the Rio Bookstore, and you can get one of these for your very own. Here is a wonderful. I feel like Vanna White here, right? Just. Thank you. And these are items that we brought to share with you that we each picked out kind of our favorites. And I have one of these pretty much wherever I go. If you see me, I have one of these. Emily, you want to talk a little bit about what you have?
I have a brand new license plate cover from the bookstore, Greek. They have a whole new Greek section, so updated. I am very excited about this because I am Greek. So these are new. They have them for every sorority and fraternity that we have on campus. So alumni, actives, future Greeks. You can go check these out.
Very cool. Silas, what do you have?
When you are as involved as I am in the university life, you definitely need one of these planners. With different pockets and a notebook in it, it really helps you keep track of everything that needs kept track of.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we wanted to get that shameless plug in for the bookstore, and if you can't physically go to the bookstore on campus, we encourage you to look through a ton of items that we have there to show your Rio pride, and I think that's what your shirt says, isn't it, Silas?
Red Storm
Red
Pride.
Storm Pride. So the Rio pride that we have, if you want to go onto the bookstore website, there are things that you can purchase there. It's bookstore.rio.edu, and you can also go to redstormgear.com. So either one of those sites and find things that really show your spirit for Rio, and we want that. We feel like that we're kind of walking billboards, and we want people to know about the great things that are going on here.
Definitely.
All right, so we've done our introductions and our shameless plugs for the bookstore and all things Rio, and now let's turn our attention to some of the things that are going on campus. Last night I had the privilege to join the Student Senate, and Emily and Silas are on the Student Senate, and we have a great leadership group there. So a big shout out to student senators, and I hope everyone on the campus, student, faculty, staff members, know who our student senators are, because they are really strong leaders on the campus and have a great deal to offer. And plus, we all need to know who to go to when we want to talk about things and make sure that our voices are heard. So last night at the Student Senate meeting, we talked about the capital projects, and when I was on a show a number of weeks back, we talked about hinted at some of the capital projects that were coming. We are really pleased to say that there is $2.6 million of capital projects, so those are buildings and grounds projects that are getting ready to launch on this campus, and we couldn't be more excited. It was a lot of fun to talk to the Student Senate about it last night and to see the excitement and the interest and the great questions that were asked as well. And one of the questions that we are asked is, well, where do we get $2.6 million? I wish it grew on trees, but the truth is it doesn't. But it does come through the state of Ohio, through legislative action and through the state government. And also some of that $2.6 million is through gift support, through donors that have passions and interests. And so with that, we have these funds that have been designated for capital projects. We cannot use them for anything else. We have a lot of needs on this campus, anywhere from compensation, so salaries, to program needs that may not be buildings and grounds oriented, things that we want to do in marketing and recruitment. But these funds can only be utilized for capital type of projects, so that's buildings and grounds. So we're very fortunate and pleased to have it, but and like I said, it's earmarked for that. We cannot say, hey, we really want to use it for something else. We're committed there to do that. So it was a lot of fun, and what we wanted to do is kind of talk through the projects. I'll share them very briefly, and we'll be sharing information through our website as these projects continue. And so that you can stay up to date on what we're doing. So visit rio.edu and you can check that out as these projects unfold. But we're really excited about where we're going with them, because we believe that these projects have the ability to transform our campus. Silas, Emily, as we talked about this last night with the Student Senate, this is not a one-shot deal. It can't be. This is the start of something that we want to continue. So there are many projects that will not be addressed yet, but the key is yet, and we want to get to those. So we have kind of broken these down. So let's start with the academic focused transformations that we hope to experience. In the academic area, we have plans to revamp and really rebuild from start to finish, expand the capacity for the nursing and allied health labs. So one thing that's been really cool is to see that there are actually models out there. I guess they call them, what do they call them? They're mannequins. They look like mannequins, but they can do all kinds of things, right? They can do all kinds of things. So those are the kinds of tools that our nursing and allied health students need in the labs to be able to practice before they get on, real people. Right. So what are some of your thoughts about that? Have you heard people talking about that particular project on campus, or what kind of interest have you seen?
Yeah, I have plenty of friends that are in the nursing program right now, and even last year I did the direct service worker certificate program through Rio. It was a grant funded. And I had a chance to work in the current nursing lab, and while it's not up to date, it is still useful, so it's not like it's not being used or not able to be used for good nurses to be turned out of Rio. But there are definitely things that nurses should be learning on, mannequins that need to be more state-of-the-art than what we have now.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Silas, anything to add to that?
And with nursing being one of our top academic focuses, we have many students that are very excited about these transformations in the allied health programs.
I think it'll touch a lot of students and really continue to show our commitment to quality programs and making sure that we're providing students the best, absolutely best that they can get. Another one of our projects in the academic area is the Welding Program, and that's something that a lot of our students that are on campus, some of our residential students, are not even aware that we have. But it's really a very high demand occupation right now. There's a real need for welders. And it's quite a skill. It's something that takes a great deal of training and expertise to do it, and to do it safely. So one of the things we're doing with these funds are improving some of the equipment that we have on campus, again, making sure it's state of the art, and also expanding this program into our Meggs Center and to our MacArthur Center. So any thoughts on that or feedback?
It's definitely going to reach a lot more students than what we have just on main campus, which a lot of these projects are geared toward the main campus. So the welding project is really focusing not only on the main campus, because it is, but also on the branch campuses, so it will affect all of Rio students.
And not too many different universities offer these welding programs that we do. I mean, you might be able to get a certificate in welding, but not an actual degree in it. So it's really exciting.
And these are really high wage jobs for people that want to go into this field and are drawn to it. It's a good profession. The other area in our academic focus projects is related to classroom technology. Now I know that touches you guys every day. It touches our faculty every day as well. And that's really exciting to see the kinds of enhancements that we can have in our classrooms for faculty to use, but also for students, because as we see, we have our phones out. We're constantly surrounded by technology. This high-tech studio that we're in, how wonderful to have this. I mean, it's great. They make us look great, those people behind the scenes, and we really appreciate that. But I think that is one of the things that really makes sure that we're staying competitive and appealing to students and give faculty what they need. So what are your thoughts there on the technology side of things?
You can answer.
I am really excited for these new advancements in technology. I am currently enrolled in an IT class, and seeing all of these different technology things that are being created every day gets me really excited to see these upgrades. I didn't realize how behind we were on the time.
Right. Play catch up.
Yeah. I mean, any field you're going to go into, you're going to be faced with new and upcoming technology, and you're going to be needing to be trained on those things before you get into those jobs. So the new upgraded technology in the classrooms is really going to enhance our learning situation or abilities, because those are the things we're going to be needing to learn in our jobs.
That's true. And it's so great that we all are on the same page and realize that. The next set of projects are related more to the student experience, and I think all of this, it's hard to draw the line sometimes between the academic experiences and the student experience, because for us it's about full development and of our students, and so they're really pretty seamless. But the residence halls, and this is something that's near and dear to Emily's heart and Silas's heart. Emily is an RA in Moulton, right?
Yes.
And Silas, you live in Holzer?
Yes.
All right, so they have some in-depth, up-close and personal experience with the residence halls. One of the things that we wanted to do with the residence halls, because they are, as we discussed last night, very expensive. I mean, there's just a lot of space. That's like, you know, there are a lot of small spaces and things like that, and it's difficult and expensive to renovate from start to finish. What we wanted to do is make sure that we had some projects here that touched every one of our residence hall students. So our residential students would experience it. It wasn't just those that happen to live in one hall, but it would be those that, you know, that live anywhere on campus. So what we hope to do with some of the funds here in our total package of capital projects is to improve the common spaces that are where everyone congregates, kind of those common areas, public spaces like the lobbies, restrooms, stairwells, study rooms, and you know, there may be some other spaces we can talk about, but those are the kinds of places where you know, we're all spending some time. And I've been amazed at what students have done, and y'all can comment on this as well, with their rooms.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like transforming, right?
Yeah, they don't look like dorm rooms, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, being an RA, I get the privilege to see the rooms transformed from just a blank dorm room when they move into a home, because this is resident students' home for 9 months out of the year. You know, you move in August and you move out in May. So you can't just live in a dull room, you have to make it your own. I've been lucky enough to be in a dorm that's already not halfway renovated, but partially renovated. Molten Hall got new flooring in the hallways and new showers, which I was really excited about. But the common areas are obviously the most used. Individual rooms are obviously important, but the common areas are used by every student in the dorms. So those really do need some work to make it more homey, because like I said, it is our home.
Right. It is.
And I like to picture the rooms as a blank canvas that you can do whatever you want and make magic happen on anything. But rooms such as like the lobbies and the stairwells and the restrooms, you can't really just customize for yourself and for your own personal likes and dislikes. And
Right.
so it'll be really nice to see these upgrades happen in our restrooms and in our stairwells.
Right, and it may encourage residents to come into some of those common spaces more,
Yeah.
you know,
Not
and
just
spend
sit in
time
their
together.
rooms.
Right, and we really want to do that. That's something we've talked a lot about, is improving campus participation, engagement from students and our whole community, but getting people involved, because we know that that's, you know, that's kind of that's the lifeblood of what we do. We want people to find their place, to find their interests, and have support for that. So hopefully that'll be a part of that solution.
I think it will be.
Good. Some of the other things we're thinking about, the student experience related, the Line Center. So the Line Center is a place that a lot of our students go. We have athletic events in there, but we also have our fitness center, our weight room, and we have, you know, facilities in there. Our swimming pool, where if you go there, Silas may be lifeguarding for you. So
Save your life.
yeah, right. He may save your life. So, and don't forget, speaking of, if you would like to text us, don't forget to text us now with any kind of questions or comments. We'd love to share those on air.
I
Not
have
sure.
some.
Are you getting some?
I think I have one
How
at least.
awesome! How awesome! And Silas, your phone is blowing up over there, so you may have one or two.
Yeah.
Also, all right. So we'll look at those. But the Line Center, the public locker rooms, and that area where if you've been in there. Great, you probably have the idea of that we needed to make some improvements there. If you haven't been in, take a look. It'd be fun to see the before and then the after. Another one of our facilities is the track and field facility. That is really an exciting venture for us, because we feel like it is something that will benefit the community. A lot of our partners in high schools and middle schools in the area to be able to use the facilities, and to make sure that you know, that we're making as many people familiar with the Rio Grande campus as possible.
I know as a elementary school student.
Yeah.
I actually did elementary school field day
Fun.
at the Rio Grande track. So as young as 6 years old, I was using the Rio Grande track.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that in the shape that it's in right now, it's just there's a life of equipment, right? These things have a certain life, and that track surface has reached the end of
seen
it.
its life.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. It's come and
And
gone.
with over 100 people on
the track team.
our track team now, it's very important to utilize
Yeah.
these resources that we are being offered.
Exactly. Real excited about the possibilities and what we'd be able to use that for. The next set of projects are really more structural and aesthetics kinds of projects, campus beautification. And that's something that, as you are taking people on tours, it's something I know that is on your mind. As you think about,
Yeah.
what are people seeing? And you're seeing it through the eyes of those new students and
Prospective
parents.
students.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts there?
I'm very excited for the Kid Math and Science bridge repair, and definitely the new landscaping that we'll be getting.
Right.
Yeah, one of the best times to do a campus tour is about 3 weeks from now in the spring, when the trees are blooming, all the flowers, it's all green, and then in the fall when everything's turning colors. Those are my two favorite times to do campus tours, just because campus is so beautiful.
Oh, it is,
And
yeah.
students don't realize that, how beautiful the campus is, because we see it with 14 inches of snow.
That's right.
But when it is, bright and sunny outside, kind of like it is today, just taking in how beautiful it is, and I think the improvements in the grounds are just going to enhance that.
I think so too, and I think one of the projects that kind of flows right into that is the atrium area on the Berry Fine and Performing Arts Center. That atrium, it's beautiful there because it looks right out there on the lawn, and you can see the bell tower, and so it's a nice flow, but it has seen better days, right?
Yeah,
And-
I think it's seen a lot of water.
Yeah, well, a lot of water, that's right, over time, and so that's going to be a great enhancement as well. So that gives you a feel for some of those projects. So with that in mind, let's see what kinds of questions we may have. Have you gotten any specific questions as you
I
check your
did.
texts? Okay.
I have received one.
Okay.
They want to know how we decided which projects to include in this capital project.
Excellent. That's a really good question. And we don't know the source of that question, right? We don't know
No.
who, but we will definitely answer it, and I bet it's on the minds of a lot of people. Because as we were saying, we have a lot of things we'd like to do, right? And a lot of needs that we have. So how do we select those? When we looked at the projects for this first phase, and remember, this is phase one. This is not a one and done, okay? So it's first phase, and we looked at some things. We looked at what kinds of things do we need to do related to safety? Are there some safety issues? And some issues related to buildings like leaking and water and things like that could be deteriorating other parts of buildings. So what are we doing there as far as safety? Because that's very important to us. But also, what are we doing to attract and retain students here? To attract students, that families and students that come to visit and say, hey, that's a place I want to be. And the way we look does have something to do with that, right? That first impression. And so I think those things, and also what are we doing as far as continuing to support the students that are here, making sure that you have the academic support and the student support in terms of whatever we can do with facilities and grounds related to that, and make sure that those are there. So that's a great question, though.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
In the residence halls, are the laundry rooms included in the common areas of the Capitol?
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah, because we kind of rattled off lobbies.
Stairwells, bathrooms.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone uses the laundry rooms. That's a good.
That's a very good point, and that's something that I think we have some residence halls that don't need as much work in a lobby, but they could really use. And we got new washers and dryers.
3 years ago, I think.
Yeah, so they're still at the early in their
Yes.
lives, and so some of those spaces. And hey, we spend some time doing laundry. I know I do. So, yeah,
2
definitely
hours
we'll
for me
look at
last
those.
night.
Yeah. Fresh, right? So that's very good, and we'll definitely consider that. Thanks for whoever sent that in. That's
And
something.
I do have one more.
Okay.
How soon are the projects going to be done?
Right.
I think everyone wants to know that.
Yes, and I wish they could just be all finished tomorrow. But we have these things like students are living in the residence halls right now, and we do have summer camps this summer, so we're going to be putting some of that work between things. But we hope to have the refreshment that's not a good word to say, but the refreshing work that we're going to do in the residence halls, have that done in before the fall term starts. Okay, and so then these other projects, we've got various timelines. Some of them we can start on quickly. The Kid Math and Science Bridge, we expect to have that one completed before school starts. You know, if we can get the work started sooner, we could have it finished by midsummer. There are other projects that will take us a little bit longer, and we may not start them for a while. But all of the projects that we just talked about should be completed by the end of 2016. So we're looking at, you know, a year and a half, and all of these projects should be complete. So I hope that kind of answers question on timeline.
Definitely. And, I know in our student senate meeting we talked, students are more okay with things being renovated as long as they're being renovated.
Right, right. And we're not just sitting here looking at the same
looking-
things.
yeah.
Right. And you know, we challenge students to develop and to grow, and we have to model that as a university and a college too, right? We have to say we're growing and we're evolving and we're trying to do better by our students and our community every day. Okay, so one of the things that we wanted to turn our attention to thinking about the capital projects is just what is the future for Rio? And there's been a lot of conversation around our campus, especially over the last few weeks, but it's not really new. I mean, this institution has been here for 138 plus years, right?
Yeah.
And that history is a very rich history. And a place doesn't stay around as long as we have been here without a lot of great people leading, working, challenging people to do more and to do things in different ways. So all of those things have been happening in our history. But lately we've been talking about a lot of, and really facing a lot of the challenges that Rio experiences. And it's not unlike a lot of other colleges and universities. We never have enough money to do everything we want to do. There are always more things on our to-do list than we can get done. But if we are pursuing those and prioritizing those, I think we can really be successful. So one of the things that that the campus has been talking about, so this is faculty, we talked about at the Student Senate last night with staff, that we have some challenges to continue and work on balancing our budget, make sure that we're good stewards of tuition dollars that are coming in, what students pay in room and board, what the state of Ohio gives us in terms of resources and allocation, donors who support us. So there's a lot of responsibility. But what we want to do is to really work hard on focusing on what is our mission, what are we doing, how are we going to accomplish that mission, and make sure that we're putting all of our effort and what we do really matches what we're saying we should do, right? And make sure that that's really focused and dedicated, very purposeful. So I think that we're going to see a lot of really positive changes, and not change for change's sake, because that's never a good thing, but change because of a very significant reason, and that is that we want to see Rio Grande here for a long time, another 138 years, and then after that another 138 years. But we have to really take a long look. It's like anything in our lives, you kind of have to look in the mirror and say, where are we? Let's take stock, right? Yep. What are we doing? How are we doing it? And where are we going to go? And let's chart a course to get there. All right, well, this has been a lot of fun. One of the things that we decided is to close this program every time we're going to do a dance-off. Right. Silas, is that
idea.
right? Yeah.
My idea.
Silas's idea. He's going to do the dance-off. It's going to be a solo dance-off. No, we threw around a couple of ideas.
That one was shot down quickly.
It was. Yes, it was. Sorry. We have to practice up for that. Before we end with our challenges that we each want to make, so who do you think the favorite show is Friends?
Right here.
Yay!
And as embarrassing as it is, I am the one that has recently started watching Sex and the City.
Good show. Good show. At one point, you know, we'll talk. We'll talk. My favorite is Walking Dead. Love it. I'm a Walking Dead, I don't know what you'd call it, addict, right?
Yeah.
Love it. A lot of fun. Good release. Pretty gory. Okay, so our challenges. Can you issue your challenge?
I challenge all of you to act as if you are a student ambassador yourself for the University of Rio Grande and Rio Grande Community College, and help promote our beautiful campus in a positive and upbeat manner.
Excellent.
My challenge is to just stay positive about Rio. You know, we all have bad days. We all fail tests, but it's not the university's fault. Stay positive. You know, this is a big part of your life.
Thank you for extending those challenges. Really appreciate you being here today. Thanks so much. Take care.